Hi guys, Louis Dangle here from Give Me Sport, and I'm joined by a very special guest. This is actually a very special one for me. It's my first AEW interview at Give Me Sport, which is nice. And for me, I'm doing it with someone, and we'll get on to talking about this, who really sort of personifies what AEW is all about and kind of why fans love AEW as much as they do. So I'm here with Eddie Kingston. Eddie, how are you holding up?
I'm good, man. I can't take all these compliments. If you notice, I'm scratching underneath here. It's like a little tick. I'm like, okay, man, thanks. I appreciate it.
So, I mean, I'll kind of explain what I mean by that. Like, for me, and I'm the kind of person, I like wrestling to feel real. Like, I'm sure you know. We'll be sat there talking to people who aren't involved in wrestling, and they ask what you do, and you say, "Oh, or you say I'm a wrestler," or I say, "Oh, I work in wrestling. I'm a wrestling reporter, wrestling journalist," and you get the questions of, "Oh, you know that's not real, right?" And I'm like,
Oh,
"Wait." I'm like, what? That thing that I do every day, I don't know it's real. Like,
yeah.
okay, but
I
it's
like
nice.
I like to show people the stitches in my hands and
I can't show them that.
yeah.
I mean, I sit here and type. I can maybe show them my hands are tied from typing so
There you
much, but
go. I would.
but onto the point about you. Like, for me, you make it feel real. Like you, AEW is a reality based promotion. Everything feels real. There feels like a purpose. It doesn't feel like there are crazy gimmicks. I mean, you got a dinosaur on your roster, but the fact that you've got kind of a reality basis and it feels real. And I think you more than anyone kind of personifies that. And kind of on that note, is that something you actively try and do? Like, do you try and just be as real, or are you just being you?
No, it's me. I guess you could say my character is me at 17. So it's just me at 17, turned up 1,000 notches. You know what I mean? And I actually got that advice from Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock because I saw them on TV. I think it was some MTV thing, and they were like, "Who's Steve Austin or something?" He's like, "It's me. Just a part of me turned up 1,000." Same thing with The Rock
Mm,
said it, and I was like, in my head before I broke in, I was like, "Oh man, these two guys are two of the greatest of all time."
mm,
So why wouldn't I listen and take what they said? Also, I love that you said reality, like AEW's with more reality based or whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
And we talked like, oh, but you guys have silly gimmicks. You have a dinosaur. That's still reality because that's who they are
yeah,
inside. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
you could say like I'm just using Luchasaurus as an
of course,
example, but even Eva Uno, that's a piece of that person.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's a piece of them. That's not just nothing's given to us. You know what I
yeah,
mean? There's not like you walk in and they go, Eva Uno, here, you're Eva Uno. Or
yeah,
Luchasaurus, here, you're Luchasaurus. Or Jungle Boy, you're Jungle Boy. Or
mm,
whatever anybody wants to say. Or
yeah,
Darby, you're going to paint half your face. No,
mm,
it's a part of each and every one of us. Whatever we
yeah.
do out there is a part of us. So, yeah, like you said, there may be silly things, but then next thing you know, guys like Darby Allen are just throwing himself on top of you and Jungle Boy stretching you and Eva Uno, trust me, I've been in the ring with him a lot. He punches you and it sucks. And then Luchasaurus is kicking your face off. You know what I mean? And like even like the Bucks and Kenny Omega and all them, they can be silly, but my
Yeah.
God, that's a part of them turns up to 1,000. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And it's real. I'd rather have that than them go out there and put their
Yeah.
fist up or have something written for them. Look, I
Mm.
don't like the Bucks. I don't like Kenny. Whatever. It is what it is, right?
And
That
I
whole
think,
Bullet Club thing, but that's them. That's a piece
yeah,
of them.
yeah. And I think kind of on that point, like when you've got the reality base of it, kind of as you mentioned, we're real people. We can be goofy sometimes. We can be silly sometimes. We
Yeah.
can be real sometimes. And I guess for me, like kind of when wrestling, when I can feel like I've got almost a connection with the wrestler, which is difficult when you're behind the screen and half of these people you've never met, but often kind of when you cut promos feels like you're talking to a friend over here in the UK, over a pint in the pub, uh, and and you're kind of just sitting with them and you're just talking. That's often kind of what your promos feel like. So I know CM Punk when he did his return promo, he said he came out there and he didn't know what he was going to say till he went out there. Is that something you kind of try and implement when you cut your promos? Do you sit there and do you are you driving to the Dynamite on a Tuesday and you're sitting there thinking, that's a good line? Or do you just go out there and kind of just speak from the heart?
For me, a lot of times it's music and movies. I'll just be sitting in the house or whatever, doing what I had to do for that day, and I'll hear a lyric, or I'll hear something in a movie, and I won't even hear it that day. I'll be at the show and be like, "Oh, okay," and then I would just build off it. But I have to be out there because I don't know. It's hard for me to explain. I kind of black out when I'm out there. It's full Eddie Kingston now. You know what I mean? If I come right to the back and you see me and you'll be like, "Hey man, that was great what you said," I'll be like, "You got to give me a minute. I got to remember what I said." Same thing with a match. I'll come to the back and they'll be like, "Oh, whatever." And I'll be like, "Yo, you got to give me a minute so I can get back into who I kind of black out, zone out." So a lot of it's just off the cuff, but it's so funny. I watched Apocalypse Now the other day, and I just, Marlon Brando when he said a slug on a razor blade. I think he said something like, "I feel like a slug on a razor blade" or something. And like I took that line and I thought about it before I went out with Punk, and then I just built off that. And even though I didn't say it, I just built off that, and I built off what I felt at that moment. It's weird. It's just weird stuff.
And it's like it feels like both. It feels like, you know what, this is almost scripted so much because it feels so like the lines are so good and so witty that you're like, there's no way anyone can think of this on the spot. But then you're like, you say this from the heart, so there's no way that it can be premeditated. But one thing I've always wondered is kind of your promos, they often kind of cut deep on people you're feuding with. Kind of you might say often the truth, but kind of hard-hitting facts, call it. Have you ever kind of had to run things through with people, kind of said, "Hey, look, I'm thinking about running this is sort of in a promo, saying this about you. Just want you to know, like, obviously, no hard feelings," or do people get that, again, Eddie Kingston, who goes out there trying to sell a pay-per-view match, you really don't think these things about these people?
No, I don't tell nobody nothing. No, they know that I'm going to go out there, I'm going to be a pro. You know what I mean? And they know that I'm not going to go out there and go into business for myself. You know what I mean? Like hurt them by like burying them. You know what I mean? They know I'm not going to do that, And whatever I say in that moment is reality, but afterwards I'm kind of like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going on my day. You know what I mean?
Have you ever had anyone kind of say like, wasn't too happy with you either within AEW or otherwise? Kind of.
Oh no, not in AEW because they all know. Dude, I've known a lot of these guys for over 10 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they know how I am, and they know that I'm not gonna do nothing. To hurt anybody verbally. You know what I mean? And everything I do is for the company. You know what I mean? Have I had people on the independents? Yeah. Have I had like Chris Hero? Me and him don't like each other, so there were a lot of things said by both of us that we were giving each other a couple of shots in there. You know what I mean? Like we would let each other say things and go, "I'll remember that when we're in the ring."
Yeah, they'll be like,
that's what usually happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll be like, there'll be an extra slap thrown in there. For that.
Yeah.
But kind of one thing that you've reminded me and a lot of AEW fans. I mean, I think back to last week on Twitter. Again, we were speaking before we went on air about what kind of place Twitter is. But one thing I loved about Twitter, particularly this week, was on Thursday before Rampage. Everyone was like, "I can't wait for Eddie Kingston and CM Punk's promo battle." And it's like, how many times before a wrestling show is the promo kind of something that fans are looking forward to most? Not very often. It's kind of, that match between the Bucks and Lucha Bros, can't wait for that. Or that match between Bryan Danielson and Nick Jackson is going to be great. But how many times do people sit there and go, there's that promo battle I can't wait for? I think that's a testament to you guys. But why do you think promos are so important? And kind of how do you try and incorporate things that have been said in your promos into the match, as opposed to just being like, all right, we're going to say this because it's going to sell the pay-per-view, but then it's not really going to deliver on anything. How do you kind of incorporate what you say to someone on the mic kind of into your matches?
Well, like, first off, the importance of being able to talk. When I was growing up in the 80s, the TV was just basically promos and studio wrestling. And WWF had their squash matches with guys on the graphics doing promos, and they were all doing promos for the house shows to sell the house show tickets because that's how they made money. So you had to talk. And when I watched, that's what I knew was like, oh, I had to talk. And as I got older, I was like, this is why I have to talk, because I have to be able to draw people in emotionally to who I am. So they either love me or hate me, whatever, just come to see me. You know what I mean? And it also helps the company and all that stuff. With looking forward to promos, I think Punk was the last guy, to be honest. And I think it was, and I'll give him credit. Whatever, man, I'll give the devil his due. It doesn't matter how I feel about him personally. He would, like, after the pipe bomb, that was all him. That's all people wanted to see was him talk. So I feel like he's the common denominator. I'll give him credit. He's the common denominator in all of it, you know? And what was the last part of the question? Because I went off. My fault.
It's all right. I'm kind of like, for me.
Oh, what I say in the pro? I got you.
Yeah, like
I don't think about that.
Okay.
I don't think about that. That never crosses my mind until it's time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Until it's time to cross my mind. You know what I mean? I'm kind of in the moment. You know?
Yeah. And one thing I noticed about your promo battle with Punk, it kind of felt like almost Punk's with John Cena from their feud in 2011.
I would have called him John Cena. That's what I said. I don't think Punk's a John Cena.
I know it was not so much that, but almost you in Punk's slot talking about people not accepting you when you came into sort of the independents and people judging you, and that's almost what Punk was saying to Cena. Is that something you consciously try to look at and try to consider, or is that almost just like why this feud works so well?
So you picked up on it.
Oh, that was intentional. Okay, that's good. It's good I picked up on it.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You picked up on it. But there was a lot of reality to that. You know what I mean? Before the little Easter egg that you got. But there was reality behind it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you how much reality was behind
Of course
it.
not.
You know what I mean? I'm going to let you guys, you know what I mean? That's like the magician saying, this is how you do the trick. The rabbit's really not in the hat, guys. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever the trick is, you know? I'm going to let you guys try to figure that out on your own.
Of course.
But
I think it's just nice, as you say, there's a little bit of reality and kind of you can see the similarities between the two. But I mean, Punk coming in, it's so exciting for wrestling as a whole. I know you guys are locked into this intense rivalry at the moment.
Yeah, because he was a hero of mine. That was, I'll let you know, that's one of the real parts. He was a hero.
Yeah. And it's kind of, how did you feel when you kind of the rumors on the internet started circulating, Punk's coming in, and like what was your kind of mindset? Is it almost I can't wait for him to come in, or are you like I can't wait for me to be given the chance to work with him?
Both. I couldn't wait for him to come in because I knew he would help the company. Look, I love AEW. I'm a homer. You know what I mean? Like, they gave me a shot, and I'm not going anywhere. This is it. This is my last stop. So anything to help this place grow, I'm all about. You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, man, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to beat him up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of, when did you hear that this would be the plan? Like, was it always something that was like, okay, you and Punk at Full Gear, or was that kind of a more recent thing?
That was a more recent thing. I really don't know how it came up because I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I do whatever you tell me. What do you got?
Okay.
You know what I mean? If I don't like it, you'll know. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? But 9 out of 10 times, honestly, it's Eddie, you're doing this. This is what we need. All right, cool. Bet.
Okay. And kind of, have there been any instances of stuff you've done where you've pitched it or kind of actively said, oh, that'll be a cool story beat to incorporate? Or are you kind of like you trust the people in power, so you don't feel you kind of need to, I guess?
I only did that on the indies. You know what I mean? Because I had, in my opinion, I felt like I had the clout to do that. Because all the years of being on the independents and me, I was against guys who were lesser experienced than I was. So I was, you know what I mean? I felt more comfortable. At AEW, I treat it as a job. You know what I mean? And whatever they tell me, I'll do. And what's great about AEW is if I don't like something, they'll let me talk about it and plead my case. But again, if my case is not good, I gotta do what they tell me because it's my job. And I tell a lot of young guys, well, not even the young guys, my crew of friends, force the hand. It's like a little saying I like to say. So no matter what they give you, you do it better than they expect you to do it. And then next thing you know, you get something else, and maybe it's better. Even if it's not better, you force it and you do it better than what they think you can. And just go, keep going. It's a job. If you really want whatever you want with that job, work at it. Go, do it. No matter what happens, just do it.
On that note, is there a particular match, a particular promo, a particular something where you think you forced Tony Khan's hand? You think you like maybe either he's told you this or maybe you think yourself where you've done something and you've been like, you know what, I don't think he expected me to do that as well as I did it.
No, because I feel like here's the thing, I have to keep a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
So none of this is true, by the way. What I'm gonna say, none of this is true, but this is what I think to keep the chip on my shoulder. I think that Tony thinks I'm not world champion material. I think that the other EVPs don't think I'm world championship material.
Yep.
I think that the whole locker room just sees me as the like fat guy in the group that can fight or whatever. You know, there's things I put in my mind that aren't true.
Yeah.
But I put them there to keep me on my edge and keeps me moving forward. Because I could get complacent because I'm getting a lot nice things said about me recently. But guess what? Complacency kills, man. It really does, and especially in the profession when you're trying to move forward. So no, I never think that Tony's like, oh man, Eddie forced my hand. I always think Tony doesn't like what I do.
I mean, it's a really good mindset to have, and I guess always wanting more. But I mean, credit to you. I mean, you have. I'll be honest. I have grown up a WWE fan. It was all I knew really. Coming here from the UK, I watched some UK independent stuff. It was WWE, and when AEW came on, I'll be honest, when it started, and then you came in, I was like, oh, this Eddie Kingston guy seems cool, but I've not seen any of his work. And you honestly made a believer out of me, and I think it's the most amazing thing when you've got people like, I mean, I'm going to show my age here. I'm pretty young. People that I used to grow up watching, like CM Punk, like Bryan Danielson, who when they come in, it's a guy that I'm still relatively new to seeing, that I'm most excited to see. And it's that kind of, it's like, like I grew up watching these guys, but it's like Eddie Kingston, who I'll be honest, like 2 years ago, I didn't really know a lot of your work. And kind of now it's all kind of blown up. So how would you summarize kind of your last 18 months, kind of sort of leaving kind of the beginning of the pandemic and then joining AEW, and then kind of why do you think people are so invested into what you do and kind of people almost follow you like a cult following of Eddie Kingston on Twitter? It's amazing. Like everything you do, I know it's scary, but everything you do,
that just freaked me out. That just freaked me out.
I know, but it's like every time you sort of cut a promo, man, it's like you see just Twitter and it's just amazing things being said about you. So how does it kind of feel to have sort of been transformed and thrown onto this national sort of TV stage and to be able to kind of make believers out of people?
So when I sat back and thought about everything, because I have thought about the past 18 months a lot. I just feel like it's not real. You know what I mean? But I gotta keep moving forward and keep trying to actually be a better person because now I can worry about myself a little bit more. You know what I mean? So I just kind of do that. when I think about the 18 months, I just feel very blessed, but also know there's still work to do. But I'm
Yep.
lucky enough where I can have time to think about myself for a little bit. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So I
Hmm.
can take
Yeah.
an hour or 10 minutes out the day to work on me. You know, I'm lucky
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
I'm blessed, very blessed. But I don't know when it comes to people talking about my promos and all that stuff. It's a great feeling. Thank you. Why do people connect with me? I don't know. I don't. I'm just me. Like I told you, it's me at 17, turned up 1,000 notches, and I said it before, and I'll keep saying it to the day I die. If you feel what I'm saying, awesome. Thank you. Cool. I hope you relate. I hope you know you're not alone in whatever I said, whatever I made you feel. You ain't alone. People who don't like me or don't understand what I'm saying, I'm not saying it for you, and I'm not saying that in an asshole way. It's just it's not meant for you. You know, it's meant for those who get it. You know, and that's it.
And I guess one thing I wanted to talk about, one of my favorite moments from you, wasn't a promo, it wasn't a match, wasn't even on TV. It was that episode of Being the Elite where you kind of went backstage after the Brodie Lee episode, and it was heartbreaking, and it was a show that obviously, and it was something like that speech. I wish I never heard it, and I wish you, and I'm sure you wish you never had to give it when you go backstage.
Yeah.
Kind of your feelings when you cut that, and is that something you kind of you just sounded like you were just talking again, like
Yeah,
it was your
I
way.
was. Yeah, there was not planned.
No, your way of almost grieving in a way was just speaking
Oh
to the
yeah, it
AW
definitely
locker
was
room.
because I had a bunch of energy inside me still about the
Hmm.
whole thing. So after the match was done, I finally cried because I didn't cry the whole entire
Yeah,
week or whatever it was, and I just remember breaking down and then walking away and feeling better, but I still had this energy inside me,
yeah,
and I saw everyone's passion that night, and it was beautiful that they were so passionate that night, especially for John for Brodie, and I just felt like we should do that all the time. And I had this energy inside me, and I just had to get it out. And I just wanted to tell everyone, come on, let's go. Let's move forward. Let's keep doing it for him. And let's do it every week like this. You know what I mean? Let's not just do it when someone passes away. Let's love each other. Let's move forward, man. We got to do this. And I had that energy in me. And then I look over and I see the camera and I go, all right, cool, thanks. I had to go because you know what I mean. It wasn't planned. It was just I just had this energy inside me. You know what I mean?
and it was again that what you said, and that show, it was again one of those things. It was beautiful, something I never wish hoped that I'd never had to see, but it was
Yeah,
absolutely, I think you guys showed, and not even intentionally. It wasn't like you went out there saying we've got to do this to get the recognition. But you guys showed what a memorial show, what a celebration of life show is all about. And it was honestly a beautiful show. And I mean,
thank you.
speaking from me anyway, I interviewed Brodie once, and he was an absolute delight, absolute delight.
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah.
think.
He was such a, and I say this in the nicest way possible. He was such a motherfucker, man. He was such a motherfucker. He would
And
get
honest,
me. He would get me every time with stuff. He was one of the few people that can bust my balls back.
that's hard. Being able to bust your balls back is hard. But I
Yeah,
mean, he just felt like a real guy. Just felt like an honest, real guy. And I mean, for you guys, if and for you especially, I know you're a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. You're a
yeah.
guy that what you see is what you get. So for you, kind of, how do you think? For me, AEW really, it almost, I don't want to say it made AEW stronger, but sort of, if you could take a silver lining out of this, it really showed the togetherness of AEW. How you guys are a promotion that cares about each other. You're a promotion that really loves each other, and that was shown sort of clearly through Brodie's unfortunate passing. Kind of, is that, and I know CM Punk spoke about this, how it was the treatment of the whole situation that really endeared him to AEW. Is that something you kind of share in, kind of how the whole situation unfolded? Did it really make you think, damn, I'm in a place that really cares about the people that are sort of
Yeah,
working for us?
yeah, and it was just the fact that we all loved Brody. And I'm telling you, everyone in that locker room loved him. You know what I mean? So when things went down, and we were asked to shut up. Of course, for Brodie and his family, of course we were going to shut up. There was no way anything, you know what I mean? And we not even just loved him, we respected him, and we respected his family. You know what I mean? And we understood, and understanding is the highest form of love, in my opinion. So understanding what his family was going through, of course we loved him, and we were going to be quiet, and we were going to protect our own. You know what I mean? That family's ours now.
Yeah.
You know what I
It
mean?
really
It's
feels like that
not-
as well.
Yeah, Amanda and the kids is AEW's now, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's
Yeah.
just it. Bottom line, they're ours. They're our family now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And we protect our own. Look,
Mhm.
not every locker room, and I'm never gonna say that word. We're a family. I hate it. I hate it. But they're ours. But of course, we're like brothers and sisters. Really, everybody. Of course, people are gonna argue and bicker and bitch and moan at each other. But at the end of the day, we can talk shit about each other. No one else can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
We
I
can
think-
argue. We can argue with each other. No one else can.
Yeah.
If you're outside of AEW, shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You can't talk about us. We
Yeah,
can
it's
talk
like-
about us, but you can't.
It's like if someone picks on my younger brother, I'm like, don't do that. But if I pick
Yeah.
on him, oh, it's fine. That's all allowed. But
Yeah.
you know, it is lovely, kind of.
But I'll tell you right now, that starts from the top. You know what I mean? Tony Khan is like that. It starts from the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
You see,
I think that's proven by like when people talked. I guess recently. I don't know the whole thing, so please, I hope people don't come at me. I don't know the whole thing. When people, I think we're talking shit about Punk or something about I don't know ratings or something.
I've got to be honest. People talk shit about everyone on Twitter.
Okay, but Tony stood up for Punk. You know what I mean? And see, that starts from the top, and that's how we all are. Like I tell you right now, I can talk shit about Punk. Anyone who's not in AEW cannot, in my opinion. Don't shut up. You're not there no more. You're not in. That's why I look at it. I don't have to like him, but he's part of the crew, and that's it. That's
And
why
listen,
I look at it.
You guys are a few days away now from a massive match at Full Gear, one that fans are really excited for. Kind of, if people aren't interested in AEW for whatever reason, it's not on their radar. Why should Full Gear and why should your match in particular be something that they tune into? What can fans expect when they watch Kingston and Punk on Saturday?
Well, first off, I'll just put it to you like this: me and Punk are gonna fight each other. I don't care what he's gonna do. I know he knows jiu-jitsu very well. I don't know what belt he is, but I know he's very good at it. That's fine. I'm good at poking you in the eye. I'm good at biting you in the ear. I'm good if you try to put a submission on, I bite your leg or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good throwing my hands. You know what I'm saying? And I have a pretty good jaw. So it's gonna take a couple shots to get me stupid. So we're gonna fight. It's not gonna be a pro wrestling match. We're gonna fight. I'm not gonna try to win the match. I'm just trying to beat him up. And when I feel it's time where I'm gonna let him stop suffering, then I'll pin him. And that's it. It's not a promo. That's what's gonna happen. But if you're not into AEW, man, come on. We have the best professional wrestler in the world today in Kenny Omega. And the reason why I say that, again, I don't like him. The reason why I say that is because he is the AEW World Champion. That's it. Once you have that title, you're the best professional wrestler in the world. That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? And he's going in there against Hangman Adam Page. And I've known Hangman forever. I've known Hangman when he was a young boy in Ring of Honor. I've seen this dude grow. It's insane, his growth. And I think a lot of people forget he just had a kid. You know how much more motivation that is for you when you just have a child? Like, come on. I don't know that motivation, but I've seen it. I've seen it in people. And it's a switch. So you're trying to tell me, like, that match alone, you don't want to see? And then you got Bryan Danielson, who I beat the crap out of, and he beat the crap out of me, against another guy who I fought, who I beat the crap out of. He beat the crap out of me and Miro. You know what I mean? And those dudes, I'm not throwing a shot now, but they're not handcuffed anymore, I guess you could say, creatively or what they can do in the ring. So now you have a different element because now they're not handcuffed. Think about that. You know what I mean? It's not just me and Punk, man. Look, thank you for all the kind words, everybody saying all this stuff, but let's be real. Look at that lineup. You got Britt Baker, who maybe Wrestler of the Year? You know what I mean? In 2021, the way her, since, I don't know if it's 2021, but ever since her match with Thunder Rosa, the no DQ or whatever it was, or lights out.
It was this year, I think.
Yeah.
This year's a blur.
Oh, I know. Everything's been nuts. Trust me, bro. I almost wrote 2010 on a check the other day. I said, what am I doing? But you have her, probably possible Wrestler of the Year, going in there. You know what I mean? And like against Ty Conte, who's grown every match. And like you say, oh, Eddie's a homer. He's promoting AEW. Yeah, you're right. I am promoting it. But I wouldn't be talking this lovely about it if it wasn't real. If I didn't believe in it. You know what I mean? So people like Ty who are growing, now she gets a shot. Let's see if she can level up. There's levels. See if she can level up. You know what I mean? Then, bro, I don't like the Bucks, but every time the Bucks are on, God, come on. You know it's going to be a great match. You already know what you're getting with them. It's like, you just know that it's going to be balls to the wall insane. You know what I mean? So, I ain't trying to sell the pay-per-view, man. I'm just being honest. And if you don't want to watch it, then don't. I don't care. I get my salary. I'm good. I get paid.
I gotta be honest. If anyone doesn't want to watch that pay-per-view, I know you weren't trying to sell it, but you've damn sure done a great job. Eddie, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today. As everyone has said continuously, it's been amazing seeing the last 18 months for you kind of transform into one of the biggest guys in AEW, one of the most popular guys in AEW, and someone fans can really believe in. So it's a real testament to you. And as I said again, it's been an absolute pleasure to get the chance to speak to you today.
Oh man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate. Look, everybody, I know I look uncomfortable when people start saying nice things, and it's true. I do
can't take a compliment.
I know. I gotta learn, but I do want to tell everybody, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Just thank you. I can't say anything else. There's no other words that will. No better words will say how I just thank you. Thank you. That's it.
And listen, from us, Eddie, thank you as well. And again, guys, that is for the UK on Fight TV, watching Full Gear this coming Saturday, November 13th. It's going to be a show. It's going to be a big, big show. You guys' final pay-per-view of the year. And if you haven't watched any of AEW's previous pay-per-views this year, they have all been insane. And this one is going to be no exception. And Eddie is facing CM Punk. The great CM Punk. It's going to be a great match. Likely, there's going to probably the video package, the great CM and the great Eddie Kingston, and the promo battle and the if you haven't watched that, definitely check that out. I'm quite excited for the video package beforehand. That's probably also going to be quite
They do great work, man. They do great work. Shout out to my girl Jess. She does great work, man.
But Eddie, again, thank you very much. And before I let you go, is there anything you want to quickly promote to the fine people?
I'm on Twitter once in a while. I forgot the name. I don't know.
I think it's Mad King something.
Something 1981, maybe.
Yeah, Mad King.
I know it's Eddie Kingston 81 on Instagram. I'm on that more because it's just peaceful.
Yeah, it's peaceful as social media can be.
Yeah. Especially when you block comments and you can't have people tag you and things.
Oh, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But Eddie, thank you very much, man. Been an absolute.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Cheers.